Good evening, everyone. I am just going to try a little live stream tonight. Just a demonstration of some of the things I've been showing, on my shorts and some videos I did about the plasma table. And yeah, the window is cracked, Melanie. And I will show you that the window is cracked. Yeah, funny. But I was just going to go through some of the things I was talking about the last time. Hopefully this goes right, because I tried it earlier with my phone, as my camera, and added myself to the live stream. So, but it worked pretty good earlier. But I just wanted to show some of the stuff that happens early on, before that even happens. Hey, Wendy, how's it going? But yeah, it's just going to show some of the things that I do on a daily basis. And maybe it'll be interesting, maybe it won't. I know Shapu's doing a premiere, so I'm sure a lot of people are over there with him. Yeah, I hope you're well too, Wendy. I know I haven't talked to you for a while. Things have been kind of hectic for me over here, so just trying to get things together, But what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my screen. It takes me so long to do this stuff. But there's in the program that I use called Autodesk Inventor, and we draw, metal components for large items, like lift tubes are huge. I'll try to show you what a lift tube looks like, if I can find one. Usually have them pretty well organized in here. You got to stay organized with this stuff, or it gets out of hand. But that's a lift tube. So these things are huge. That's 23 inches in diameter, and these plates of metal are so thick on top, and we've got to cut them with a plasma table. So what it did was, as a little demonstration, I'm going to cut out this item right here. So I made my little Johnny Cool logo, or whatever you want to call it. This is a 3/4 inch thick steel. And I then, when I've done that, I make a file from it. I'll export this file and create myself a little DXF that I can use in my cutting program. So I'll show you what that looks like. So got to share it again, apparently. And this is what the program looks like that we do our cutting with. It's called Hypertherm. It's a industry known software for programming all kinds of machines, CNCs, plasma cutters, water jet, all those kind of things. So once I have put that file in there, I'll send it to the machine. And this is the part where I'm going to add my camera to the screen. In fact, I'm going to take all of me off the screen. Hopefully, maybe one of you guys can help me out if I lose connection or something, because I'm not going to be able to see the chat very well. If you could let me know, maybe text me or something just to say here, you're not even on the screen. So that would be cool. Thank you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add myself my live screen, which is my phone, which I've hooked it up, and should be able to go out here and do a little bit of investigation. Oh, alcohol is not allowed in this place, but no one saw that, right? This thing's pausing and stuff. Can you guys hear me okay? Can you guys hear me through the phone? Okay. So I'm going to go on a little tour. So we'll get the orientation right. So we can get the whole screen here. All right. So this is my office. I mean, I don't know if you've probably seen it before. Not very interesting. So we're going to take a little tour of the place. Sorry about the shaky camera work. It's worse than yours, Melanie. All right, so I can't see the chat anymore, but this is a place where I work. Pretty grueling place. I hope that you can see everything that I'm seeing, and just give you a little tour of the facility. But this is our plasma table right here. To chat with you guys, what I have to do is I have to come out of the I have to come out of where I can see the picture to be able to see you guys. So, but what I've got done is I've set up here for to cut this logo out of this piece of steel, and this is 3/4 inch thick steel, just mild steel, so not too difficult for this machine. Very powerful machine, and I'm going to be using a 300 amp cutting head, so it's going to be pretty bright. But before we do that, I'm going to take you. Can you guys still see me? Just let me know in the chat if you can. But just to let you see, I'm not going to go in the bathrooms because they're completely gross, and I don't want to make you vomit before your dinner. But this is a drive base for a water clarifier. Huge machine that will clean out the water in a facility, stirs it up, and then takes the effluent off the top. And these things are huge. So that's why our cranes are so big. Like we have a 16-ton crane. We have a 20-ton crane. This one over here is a 20-ton. There's a 20-ton crane on the other side too, which we need on both sides for lifting some of these items. So I hope it's still showing on the live stream. I'll take a walk back down here, but these are all just very old machines that we use at the facility. And yeah, I mean, we do the best we can with the equipment we got. A lot of welders, not too much inside today. Usually there's like big structures in here, and that's what these tables are for, is to put put stuff onto these tables and weld them together. Large structures that we do. But all of our equipment is kind of a little bit dated, as you can see. So, but we do the best we can. But the plasma table is of most interest to all of us, I think, because of the topic that we study sometimes. Thinking about a plasma event or some kind of powerful event. I need to go in and check and see if it's still streaming. I can't really see any comments in the chat. Oh, we're all good. Okay, good. So anyway, that what I showed you on the screen sent to the machine already, and now we can think about running that program. If we get this thing to wake up, and there you go. So this is the image that we sent over to the machine to cut. So, and I'm all ready to go with it. The only thing I'm lacking to do is finding the edge of this part, the edge of this material, and running this program. So just gotta switch the thing on first. And it takes a minute for it to generate the gases. It needs the gases and the electricity also to cut. And yes, I do wear shades when I'm doing this, because this thing would blind you. Otherwise, it's so bright. But let's see what happens. Hopefully it doesn't do like last time and go completely dark, because we couldn't see anything the last time. Hopefully, maybe there's a few more people have showed up. Maybe. Don't know. Can't really tell. But so, because I'm about to run it, but I guess I can rewatch it, if they're really interested in it. But it's just a matter of me hitting the button, because I'm all set up. But like I say, the setup takes a long time. I've got to use the right head. This is a 300 amp head, cutting head, and you've got to use the right hardware inside it to make it cut 300 amps. But so let's see how it does. Closer or further away, because it's so bright. But that's the 3/4 inch thick plate steel, and not a problem. 300 amp and very bright. you have a part, just like you drew in the software, almost identical. That's a very nice cut on that one. But that is so hot. Like, I can't touch that right now. Even though it's submerged in water. Or it's not water, but it's like a dielectric fluid. This green fluid, it's to stop explosions from happening because of gases being released from certain metals, exotic metals, and can cause an explosion. So you have to have that flooding in there to do that, to stop it. But I hope that's kind of interesting to you guys. I guess I'll go back into where I hang out usually. I won't show you my cigarette tray, which is completely filled with cigarettes. There's going to be a little bit of an echo, I think, for a second, because of the other microphone. So I hope that was enjoyable to watch at for some of you. I don't see too many in the chat, and that's understandable. Thursday night, it's not really a streaming night, is it? Not a normal streaming night. But I'm probably not going to stream for very long. So I just wanted to show that live plasma cutting. Let me just play. I wanted to play this actually. It's just some songs I've been enjoying. Let's see which one. I think this is my favorite one. Sorry about the. Does any of you notice that they're stopping us from skipping the ads now? I don't know if you've noticed that, but you almost have to show the adverts and everything now. But let me share this and let me know if it's playing, please.
This is the resistance and I'm not giving in. Breaking the paradigm everybody's living in. No more spinning on a ball, that shit was just pretend. And I'm not gonna say it is just for the sake of fitting in. The truth is different to people because illusions vary. The truth is hidden, the truth is missing, the truth is buried. The truth is beautiful, truth is ugly, the truth is scary. That's why telling the truth is revolutionary. The truth is something that these people just will not provide. That's why they gotta keep sheeple completely occupied. Now our food and our fruits and veggies are modified. And that's what happens when common sense is just not applied. They govern your mind, that's why it's called governmental. Everything that comes out of their mouth is utter dribble. And we just sit here every day, it's always uneventful. That's why I'm out here causing ruckus, man, that's what I'm into. Forever I'm defiant, remaining non-compliant. No, I'm not staying quiet, never remaining silent. Doing everything that I can just to create a riot. I want the truth and I'll do whatever it takes to find it. You have to be asleep to have the American dream. There's bloodlines and they seem to think there's a supreme. Democrats and Republicans are sharing the scene. It's no different than the WWE. Everybody's an actor and the world is a stage. We're just some slaves, never knowing the world is a cage. They got us worrying about chasing fortune and fame. They train us to ignore these things and it's more than just strange. But I won't do this anymore, man, I'm taking control. If you don't do it for yourself, no one's saving your soul. It's better that you make it whole than they'll make it a whole. Ripping it, tearing it, twisting and taking it slow. I've never been the type of guy that would tolerate ghouls. They try to take us and brainwash us in all of their schools. They're lying to us every day while we're watching the news. But I refuse to lose and no, I won't follow the rules. Forever I'm defiant, remaining non-compliant. No, I'm not staying quiet, never remaining silent. Doing everything that I can just to create a riot. I want the truth and I'll do whatever it takes to find it.
No.
I was curious, if I could play that entire song. Being that it was ODD, and I didn't think it would get pulled because he's supposed to be a truther, right? And whatever that means today, Do any of you guys want to come up and join me? I will join. I will drop the link if you do. Because I don't really have a whole lot to discuss, There was only a couple of things I noticed today. And we were talking earlier, me and my best friend, about the storms over here. It's been a few days that the rain has been going and lightning storms. In fact, I was on the way back from seeing my daughters, driving back down here, and stopped at a stoplight. And I thought inside my head, I'm like, I don't want to stop at this stoplight. And it got zapped at that moment, at that very, very moment. Disintegrated the traffic light, and it was just interesting. But I think they've been generating these storms just for quite a while now over here. I've seen them chemtrailing for days at a time. I don't know. I mean, it's probably just as bad wherever you go, with the chemtrails. But I think they're trying to generate some weather over here. I've noticed in the news it was. There's some deaths and stuff that was to do with it, with the flooding that had come from some of the storms. I guess they do fire on the West Coast and water on the East Coast. Is that how it works? Drown everyone over here and burn everyone over there. So I don't know, but I mean, we all know what they're up to. At this time, I don't really delve into a whole lot of truther stuff, right now, because my real life is just kind of like, it's hard enough to work on that. Never mind trying to fix the world's problems. I will leave fixing the world problems up to Jack Talcott, right? Jack Talcott, he says he will solve it, so I'm just waiting on him. But I haven't done any of my drops yet, but I did shave up just for the performance. And that's what it is. It's a performance. I mean, we act differently on the YouTube than we do in real life. But since I did shave, I'll play this one.
Hey Johnny Cool Milk. I don't know who the fuck you are.
Oh, wrong one. I clicked on the wrong one. But can you guys hear those ones? Those drops? Is audio sharing on those? I know last time people said that it wasn't. Last time people said that the drops weren't hearing them. So, anyways, but no, this was the one I was looking for.
Let me tell you something else, you goddamn illegal immigrant, because that's what you looking like, motherfucker.
My beard was a bit longer whenever it was when she had seen one of my videos with the longer beard, and man, got a railing in that chat.
Motherfucker, what you going live on one of them Obama phones that I pay my tax dollars for? Let me tell your Iraq looking ass something. Won't you do something about that hairline and shave that goddamn hair off your face? You look a fucking mess. You look like a homeless motherfucker. Now let me tell you something. I know you still in here. I know your ass still.
Now, this is not an Obama phone, but it was bought for me by an employer. And I'll be honest with you, I'm just about ready to get rid of it, guys, because yeah, it was nice to be able to watch videos and stuff, while you're driving, or when you're out somewhere. But it's just too much. It's too much information, too much entertainment. I noticed it with my girls. They're all constantly on their phones now. And what I've had to do is, whenever I go up to visit with them, I'll take them out to a park or something, and I'll take their phones off them. I'll take their phones, even though they're older teenagers, and one of them's 19, but she doesn't really like giving her phone up. But you can't really get to talk to her unless you do it, So, because you're trying to communicate with them, but they're just sitting looking at the phone or a computer, even worse. I don't know if you guys experience the same thing. If any of you guys want to come up and chat, I would be happy to chat with you. I'm not going to stay on for a long time if no one's really that interested in it. But here's another one I like. I like this drop. This is when we were friends, me and Sister T were
friends. I say, who else we got? Who? I say Johnny Cool Milk in the house.
Sister T is a trip, and I recommend watching her. You got to be careful what you say in the chat, because it's not going to go down well if she takes it that you're attacking her or doing something about her. She's going to go off the rails. But she is based, though. She talks a lot of sense. Anything I've heard her talking about, it was usually common sense. But the other one I like to play is this one, and we stole this from Jan's wine stream. If you've seen that one, Red, I don't know if you saw that one, but we stole this from her.
It's always about penises and balls. God.
Yeah, I think I remember that stream, actually. I think I remember doing that stream, and it was a long time ago. We've been at this for a long time, haven't we? And you do get kind of weary. You get kind of weary because there's so much nonsense. Like, I'd never really looked into any of the Panelverse stuff, until recently. And man, the people that go on there, you would swear that they're insane, and maybe I am too. Maybe I'm insane as well. But here we are. We're about, 10 or 15 years into this journey. Some of us more than that, some of us more than 15 years doing this stuff. Like, I think my children were like 3 maybe years old, maybe the 3 or 4 years old. The oldest one was whenever I started really getting into looking into, YouTube stuff. And now they're like, the oldest one is 21. And yeah, time has gone past really fast. And it's changing too. It's changing. But it's like we're the toad in the water. If you guys know that analogy, I know. It's slowly changing around us. And we're being climatized to it. And we don't really think that there's danger at all, because you just kind of go with it, right? You go with all the things. Kind of like when the Teslas first came on the scene. You might have seen a couple. I know, Melanie, out there, you see more than a couple. But, now they're over here in Alabama. And I would never have thought I would ever seen that. And there's charging stations and all this stuff for them. I even seen one of them garbage trucks, Cybertruck, the other day. Where's DJ? Oh, sweet. Hey, man. Oh, no. Sorry to hear that, Rethink. Heading out of the hospital. Dang it. Yeah, I don't like hospitals, bro. I stay away from them. My children, we didn't even. Oh, yeah, sorry, guys. Of course, red should be blue. I think Melanie can make you blue, actually. No, you look better in blue, red, Blue, red. Weird. I think Melanie could do that too, though, if she wants to. So, but just talking about how quickly things have gone past, and our children have grown up now. Well, mine have grown up. And it's like, what did I achieve, by looking into all that stuff and the time we spent, watching video upon video. And of course, you were taught to watch him in double speed, right? 2x speed. And man, it just didn't do us any good, I'm still a truther, by the way. I mean, I'm still looking into truth all the time, but it's like, it can't be the only thing that I'm doing, If anybody wants to join, DJ, if you want to join, I'll drop you a link here, bro. Get a little chat about Northern Ireland, or Northern Ireland, as we would say. Right, DJ? I'm not sure if you're from the same area that I was from, but we had a thick brogue right there, you know what I mean? Oh, that's a good idea. Rethink, you could get your phone and I'll put your phone on the StreamYard here, bro. Yeah, come on up here, DJ. There's nothing to fear but fear itself, right? We're gonna have a bit of crack and a bit of banter, right? Like we're in the pub. See the size of this Modelo? Look at the size of the bottles. That's like DJ, did you ever drink Nuki Brown? The Nuki Brown? Newcastle Brown Ale? Huge bottles, right? If you drop one, it would like wash away the pavement, This is a lot more fun when there's someone else up here to chat with. But I understand it's Thursday night. Who the hell wants to come up on a stream like on a fucking Thursday or do anything on a Thursday, right? Just want to go home, have a cup of tea. Oh, it's late over there. Sorry, DJ, forgot, man. You know, when I first got here, I called my brother. I think it was like 9 o'clock here, and it was like what 3 o'clock in the morning over there. Boy, he was mad at me, DJ. He fucking cussed me out that day. You know, cussed me out and told me never to call him again. But we're gaining people and then we're losing them again because I'm not very interesting. We need to get somebody else up here. What else were I thinking about? Oh, the Google guys being sent back to work. I don't know if you guys have seen that. Google employees have to go back to work. Well, shit. I mean, who doesn't? You know, we all have to work. But I swear that there's some people that don't work at all. You know what I mean? I don't know how people have the time to sit and do all the stuff that they do. You know, I'm totally swamped all the time, constantly, between family and work, you know. I mean, I started making videos a while back, and it took, 2 or 3 hours making a video. Wow. I mean, who has that kind of time? But if I was over there, DJ, we could have a game of pool or something. You know what I mean? Well, that's the thing, Red. I get used by my employers, because I do try, and I do good work. So they tend to put me in good positions and stuff like that. But then they'll want to work you to death. You know what I mean? They'll want to work you to 8, 9 o'clock at night, to get things done. And that's the trouble. And in between working and doing all that stuff, I had to drop my transmission, a couple of weeks ago, which I do myself. I do all my own car work as much as I can, but that wasn't easy on my own, dropping a transmission and putting it back in again. I thought that the rear main seal was gone in the truck, but it turned out it was a oil pressure switch, which is difficult to get at. Like, it's on top of the engine. You have to drop the transmission to get at it. There is a way to get in from the top to get it, but it's so difficult. That'd be good footage right there. It'd be a bit messy, but the live stream, like a live birth, that'd be good. It'd be my first, you know what I mean? I hear you, DJ. Yeah, I have been being a bit smarter now, you know what I mean? You gotta stand up for yourself, you know what I mean? And with my boss, we're kind of friends, and it's not a good thing, DJ, because when you're friends with your boss, you kind of let him away with shit that you wouldn't if he wasn't, you know what I mean? But a few things have happened recently where, I've had to kind of put the brakes on a little bit and say, treat me better, like, you know what I mean? Because I'm a valuable employee. So, but they let me do whatever I want. I mean, I'm smoking in my office, DJ. This is the first office I've ever had where I could smoke in it. Oh, and the window is open, Melanie. Hold on now. I forgot to do that. Let me just do this. Right. So here's my window, and there's my fan, and it is open. See? So just for all the doubters, there is actually a window open. But as you say, Melanie, HR does not like me. They don't like me. They're not used to that, you know. But the boss told them, don't fuck with me, like so, and they don't. I mean, they'll come in here and they'll tell me, "Oh, there's so much smoke, we can't breathe in the other room and stuff like that," and I just tell them, "Go see the boss. I mean, go ask him. See if you want me to go away from my desk and smoke somewhere else." You know what I mean? So they don't like that. What? I really have nothing really much to really talk about. I mean, I guess I could talk about, some of that Panelverse stuff, which I don't even understand, half of what the hell's going on in the place, because I don't know any of those people. I've seen a couple of them, maybe. I know, like Melanie and DJ, and you guys seem to know more about all that than I do. But that's a whole different side of the YouTube, but that I've never really even looked into before, So it's just interesting that it is comical, like, to hear some of them people talking. They seem to think like they know everything. So, especially Jack Talcott. But I have enjoyed watching Tommy's streams. A little bit more based and no bullshit. You know what I mean? Doesn't put up with the bullshit. So that's pretty interesting. But let me see if I can show something else, just so we're not bored to tears over here. Oh, Tommy's live, is he? Oh, I'm treading on his toes. Yeah, I just thought I would do a Thursday night. I didn't think anybody would be even watching YouTube tonight, but got a few people in, so that's good. And I appreciate everybody coming along. And I appreciate everybody showing up, so. Am I ever coming to the States? I'm in the United States right now, Brad. I'm sitting here in Alabama. Yeah, I'm sitting here right in Alabama. Red, Birmingham, actually, if you want to be specific. Yeah, in Birmingham. So, no, I'm not. I'm not in the UK. I was in Northern Ireland for, 24 years. So I was 24, Red, and then left and came over here. I was 2000, in the year 2000, and Birmingham, Ireland. Yeah, the year 2000, I came over here, and I've been here for 25 years. So I did go back for a little spell just to let my children see the grandparents and all that kind of stuff, and we spent 3 years over there. So, hey, Doug, get on up here, bro. Get a bit of crack. But yeah, my accent, yeah, it doesn't really doesn't sound like an Alabama accent, I know. And I don't try to do an Alabama accent either. I'm not one of these people who tries to, pick up the accent of wherever you're living, I don't like it hasn't really changed a whole lot, my accent. I mean, if you ask Melanie, she'll say it's fucked up, but and she's right, it is. It's a wee mixture of both, Red, you know. But when I get talking to my dad, like if I talk to my dad from back home, he, you know, my bro will come out more when I'm talking to him than it would if, you know, if I was just talking to you guys, because I try to speak where you can understand me and use words that you would understand. But I knackered. That's a good word right there. I'm kind of knackered myself, Doug. It's been a long day. So this is one of my drawings I've been working on for a bit now. It's called a rake arm. It's called a rake arm, and it goes on a water clarifier. Goes on a water clarifier and stirs up the water, and then it'll get the sludge out, and then they can skim it off the top, the sludge, you know what I mean? So cleans out the water, and then they can put it into the sewer. But those are big structures. That they're things. That one's 120 foot long, so they're pretty big, you know. A shit stirrer. That's right. That is right, Red. Shit stirrers. There's plenty of those on YouTube, isn't there? Shit stirrers. It seems like, anyway. Dyslexic. I'm dyslexic with numbers. I knackered. It was tired. Yeah. That's right, Doug. It's like we're just having a chat. I kind of wish I could turn the sound on, what you guys are saying. Even though you're just typing it. But I just thought I'd give something to do on Thursday night, you know. I'll maybe show another ODD one. Do you guys like them ODD ones or no? Maybe put another one on. ODD. ODD was like a truther music guy from a little while back there, Red. And nobody really knows what happened to him, but he moved down to be with a guy called Nicholson. Remember Nicholson, 1978? You might have heard of Nicholson. Windows open, Doug. I forget what his real name was, or is. But let me play another one, just so that you can get to see it, and you know what it is then. Let's find a good one. All right, here we go. Let's do that one. All right.
Did you know that this country is just a corporation, a police state that won't tolerate insubordination? Did you know your birth certificate is just a receipt? You were born on a tax farm. Isn't it sweet? They brainwash you with the TV, then enslave you with debt. I see people oblivious and it makes me upset. So listen, all this is my call for an uprising. It's time to brawl because we've all had enough lying. Not done trying, but fuck crying. It's time to act. I see everyone waking up, but no one fighting back. We're in a state of emergency. How we live is absurd to me. Currently, they're about to crash U.S. currency. Problem, reaction, solution. The oldest trick in the book. It's been trying to tell you about it. No one would give it a look. Now the new world order is right around the corner. We're living in the last days. Time is getting shorter. This is the land of the greedy and the home of the slaves. It's on the back of dollar bills getting thrown in your face. But most people are too stupid to even understand. I welcome you to the divided states of zombie land. This is the land of the greedy and the home of the slaves. It's on the back of dollar bills getting thrown in your face. But most people are too stupid to even understand. I welcome you to the divided states of zombie land.
You've been messing with some delicate minds. It's a deception. Everything that you've been fed was a lie. Be careful with the medicine that you have just been prescribed. It's the devil and he wants you if you're dead or alive. Look, suggestive thinking's got you a victim of this suicide. And you've been blinded by the invisible prison that you have been doing time in. You're entitled to the truth you think that you've acquired. And the conditioning's what makes you violent with the refusal bias. In zombie land, where we poison our water, we feed you lies about the wars and every ward you for slaughter. And boy, it gets darker. The FDA just pulls you in farther with poisoning toxins in food and even more from the doctors. You could either wake up and just think for yourself, beginning by questioning everything education and media tells you, or you can stay asleep, remain in critical health, and fend for yourself in the prison of the material realm. Let's get it.
This is the land of the greedy and the home of the slaves. It's on the back of dollar bills getting thrown in your face. But most people are too stupid to even understand. I welcome you to the divided states of zombie land. This is the land of the greedy and the home of the slaves. It's on the back of dollar bills getting thrown in your face. But most people are too stupid to even understand. I welcome you to the divided states of zombie land. I welcome you to the divided states of zombie land. I welcome you to the divided states of zombie land.
There's other ones too. Can you guys hear me? I don't want to repeat the Melanie drop over and over again. Can you guys hear me? Well, each to their own. Doug and Melanie. People have different tastes of music. That's all. I'm not a big REM fan. I cannot. They're just so pretentious to me. I don't know. But again, each to their own. It's just different tastes. And I remember this ODD stuff back in the day. It was like very motivating to like continue to looking into it. You know what I mean? Looking into the truth or stuff. But like I say, it was like, what was the point? In the end of the day, I mean, the truth and you'll never stop looking for it. Probably, it's kind of inside you to do it. But like, what did we benefit from, spending years at it, years and years? I mean, personally, I poured a lot of my time into my family. Like, I mean, more than YouTube and all that kind of stuff, which, if it went the other way, I probably would be making money now, right? You would be making, money out of YouTube, like all these guys that's all they do is like sit and make money out of YouTube. I don't know the names of them. Melanie and DJ, you would know these guys. Like, flow state, ones like that. Flow state sounds like a venereal disease. You know what I mean? I don't know. He should have picked a different name. That one's not good for me. Like, but but yeah, I think it was more beneficial to spend time with your families, and making a farm or like doing stuff like growing a garden or something. You know what I mean? I think I wasted too many years just on the wrong subject. But I'm not saying I'm going to stop looking at the truth. You know what I mean? We're going to continue. Obviously, you can't really prevent it. Fossilized cedar tree. Could you drop the link? Hey, I'm going to make everybody a mod just because, if anybody shows up in here, they're my friends. You know what I mean? So we'll make Camellia a mod. We'll make DJ as well. Who am I missing? Anyway, if there's anybody else shows up, I don't mind if you go ahead and make them a moderator at this point, Melanie. It's not like there's 1,000 members of the channel or anything, so no big deal. But yeah, ODD, that was just some of that music that I liked at the time, and but he's gone too, so. You can't do it? Okay, I thought you could do it, but all right. Where is he? All right, I found him. All right, we'll make him a moderator. There you go. There you go. Yeah, there's no point. Like, I mean, I'm not. If it was a big channel, like we had like thousands of people or something like that, it'd be maybe important who had the wrenches and stuff like that. But I don't want anyone getting blocked. That's all, so you don't have to block anybody. Like, even if they get belligerent, I don't care. Like, I mean, really, it's just YouTube, isn't it? At the end of the day. So anyway, I don't really have a whole lot much more interesting stuff to talk about. If anybody wants to come up and talk, that's fine. We can chat. But I just wanted to try to do a bit more consistent, stream. Not a big long one, but maybe do it every Thursday or something like that. That might work. Biblical trees. Okay, I'll probably watch out later. Or is Esther? All right, we'll make you a moderator too, Esther. Like I said, it's no big deal because there's not that many people on the channel, on the show. So I'm just going to play a few of my drops. And then if no one wants to come up or, if no one wants to talk or whatever, I'm just going to probably end it. But main thing was to show the plasma and the powerfulness of that machine. That's a 300 amp cutting head going through a quarter inch plate. And we can cut up to 2.5 inches thick plate on that machine. So, I mean, it is powerful. And I can actually feel the electricity in my toes. Like you were saying about having good boots on, boots on the ground. Well, yeah. If you didn't have good boots on, it would shock you. That machine would shock your feet for sure. There's 2 grounding rods in that thing. I don't know if you know the significance of that, but there's a lot of grounding happens with those machines because of the energy that's created, and it's got to be dissipated somewhere. If it wasn't grounded into the ground, you would definitely get heavily shocked by that thing, and the electricity would just come, closest place to the ground, right? At least path of least resistance, right? That's what it does, as you know. So, but yeah, you can feel your feet tingling whenever it's in action. Are you coming up, Esther? Oh yeah, I was going to play a couple of drops.
Hey, Melanie, you didn't just call me, did you?
And this is one of my favorite ones.
Hey, Johnny Cool Milk. I don't know who the fuck you are.
And this is
What you going live on one of them Obama phones that I pay my tax dollars for? Let me tell your Iraq looking ass something. Won't you do something about that hairline and shave that goddamn hair off your face? You look a fucking mess. You look like a homeless motherfucker. Now let me tell you something. I know you still in here. I know your ass still.
Now, what she didn't know is that actually I'm homeless. So, but she didn't know that. But I like that one. This here's not.
Won't you do something about that hairline and shave that goddamn hair off your face? You look a fucking mess.
Yeah. But my daughter cuts my hair, and I think she does a pretty good job whenever I let her. I guess for a while I just didn't really care about cutting my hair. It was a mistake, Red. So I went in the chat and I was talking to Melanie. I said, "You're stalking me, right?" So she thought I was saying that was she stalking me? Like, was Sister T stalking me? And then she went and found my channel, and she pulled up, I don't know what video. Jack Talcott is here for real. Yeah. You can go ahead and give it to him. I think you can give it to him, Melanie. I'm pretty sure you can. All right. I guess we're ranching Jack Talcott. All right. Well, that's a surprise. Encouragement and support. Yeah. I mean, I do that in real life, Jack. I'm not really a YouTube influencer as such. My encouragement is to the people I love, and the people that actually listen to me. So, my children, for instance, I encourage them. Like, I'll try to, tell them, make good choices. Don't be on your phone as much. Take them out, try to be a father to them. That's basically what I do. And even at work here, I got people here, Jack, that are loco. I mean, one dude is bipolar, and he's being diagnosed bipolar, and he struggles with life. I mean, he struggles with the most basic stuff, and he gets so intense about things, and he won't just chill out and be calm. So it's like, man, I talk to him. I just tell him, look, don't worry. It's not it's not a problem. Things are not as big of a problem as what you're making them out to be. You know, things like that in real life. I'm just not sure, Jack, that you can talk to 1,000 people, let's say 1,000 or 500 people on a platform like this, and that they'll actually take your advice. You know what I mean? I just don't see it happening. I think they just watch it for entertainment value. You know, I doubt when they go through their day. I don't even know if any of them people work, to be honest with you. But if they're going through a day's work, I doubt they're thinking about what I said or what Jack Talcott said or what Flow State said. You know, I doubt it. Like when they come across real problems in their life, like let's say they lose a child dies. I doubt they're thinking about what Flow State said. You know what I'm saying? I have no idea what that even is, Doug. But I guess I can look it up, right? Because I've got the internet right here. No, Doug. Miller High Life? No. John drinks Miller High Life. This is a Modelo, bro. That's Modelo. It's a big bottle, isn't it? We'll see you, Jack. But yeah, I honestly don't think people, apart from the show itself, like watching the show itself, and they're like arguing back and forth about who's right and who's the best on the stream and all that stuff. I doubt they're even thinking about the show like through the day, like next day, let's say, you know what I mean? Yes, this bottle would look tiny in Melanie's hands because Melanie's a Nephilim giant. So, you know, this would be like two of my hands would be like one of hers. You know what I mean? And that, so it'd be tiny. It would look like a miniature in Melanie's hands. Aye. Good things come in small packages, Melanie. That's what you know. You should know. Quality, not quantity. That's what we do over here. Yeah, you are all beautiful. I don't care how tall you are. You're beautiful anyway. A man-sized hands. It depends on the man you're talking about. You know what I mean, Red? How big his hands are. That's right, Esther. I'm still growing. Smoking stunted my growth. That's the problem. I was shooting for 6 foot, Esther, but when I started smoking, that was the end of it. I think Doug's about what, 6'3", aren't you? If you came on here looking for a guru, you're not looking at the right guy. You know what I mean? I'm not the one for YouTube speeches and stuff like that. I mean, I would talk about religion a little bit, maybe. You know, I can damage your family. I can damage your life. I could talk about that. If you guys would be interested in a show like that, and I would definitely do it as a series, because it's a long story, as you all know. Or Skull Asylum, my man Skull. Hey, dude, great to see you here, bro. I just played 2 full-length ODD songs, and the stream did not get pulled. So I'm guessing they're not copyrighted. Or what do you think? You want to come up here, Skull? Advise me on my music. But that would be the one subject that I might want to cover, would be, you know, religion, because I started off like most of everybody who comes to religion, it's through the Jesus route, right? The Jesus. And even in that category, like believing in Jesus, you've got, I don't know how many hundred thousands denominations, differences of opinions, just division, right? It causes division because there's so many different views on the same guy, about the same guy. Like you could walk into one Baptist church, and I have been in many Baptist churches, where one church will teach you music is evil. Music is evil, right? It's of the devil. And then you can go to another Baptist church down the road, and they'll be having a rock concert. They'll be having a Christian rock concert, right? So there's so much division that's caused by putting a name on something, like Jesus, for instance. It makes people fight and argue about what he actually said, what he meant to say. I've heard preachers saying he meant to say this. He didn't actually say it, but he meant to say something, and then they'll add their own doctrine to it, you know? So that's my experience. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I was training to be a pastor of a church. I went to Bible college. I did 4 years of Bible college. Learned a whole bunch of stuff, right? About the Bible. But then when you go to a church, you've got all these different flavors. Yeah, Skull could come up here. Skull could come up here. Yeah, I took Greek and everything. I took a little bit of Hebrew, not too much, but we did a bunch of Greek because, Christian church, New Testament, and it's written in Greek, supposedly, Koine Greek, as they say, the common Greek. But I did all that. But when you went out into churches, you had the congregation was telling you what they wanted to be, what they wanted to be preached from the pulpit. And if that's the case, then they're only getting to hear what they want to hear. It's like an echo chamber. It's just an echo chamber. So I made the journey away from the Jesus thing because I did discover that the name Jesus was impossible. Couldn't have happened. There couldn't be a Jesus. Oh, there's Skull Asylum. Sweet. Hey, dude.
Hey, can you hear me?
What's happening, man?
No, not much.
Maybe we can talk about something else except religion, right?
Oh, yeah, I don't.
I don't like
don't
talking
mind.
about it, bro. It's
Yeah,
just
it's amazing. I mean, I was listening to you talk there, and yeah, it's amazing to me all the time. How can so many people be interested in one same thing, but so
Exactly.
divided over that thing?
Yep, exactly.
Like they're brought together and divided at the same time.
Yes, it's so crazy. I've like I say, I've been to so many different ones, Scully. You know, like I've
Hmm.
been to, like I was going to be a Baptist preacher. That was the college I went to, but I've been to Presbyterians and all different denominations, and they teach different stuff, bro. Everywhere you go.
So you had to get into the Greek, huh?
Well, in the college we did, because that's what they required. We had to
Right.
do flip. We were even diagramming sentences in Greek, like what I mean, just like you would do in
Mhm.
English. Yeah, we would diagram the sentences, and so we heavily looked into it. And then you discovered that King James, who wrote or who was behind the King James Bible, was not a good guy, right? Or himself.
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot of opinions out there about him. Yeah.
And not only did it put his own name, he put his own name in the Bible, bro. There's no James. There's no James even in Greek.
Uh-huh.
No, it's Jacob. That name is Jacob in the Greek.
So
And
when these Bibles were made, it was kind of like they were compiled from all this other. I mean, what did they talk about with that in the school that you went to?
Well, they would say, okay, there's a whole camp of people that are like King James only. You've heard that statement, right?
Oh, sure. Mhm.
Right. So the King James only, they say that is infallible. That Bible in English, written in English, is infallible.
Ah.
No mistakes. But it's not true, because the number one, the name Jesus could not have existed because letter J wasn't invented till 1200 AD.
Yeah.
And that was way after,
Right.
what I mean?
Yes.
And you would not name your children in the language of a foreign country.
No.
If you had children in America, you're going to name them American names, right?
Right.
English names. My name's Jonathan. Now I know when you go to France, it's like Jonathan, right? They say it with the long J on it,
Mhm.
but it's the same name. So, but no,
Yes, it can be found in that language.
right.
Right. You're especially back then, you're saying, okay, well, if things are like history says, then they weren't very connected with these other cultures, so they wouldn't be like, oh, well, I thought it'd be fun to name. They would have never heard of it.
Right.
And that, like you said, that language didn't even exist either that time. So
Besides all the technicalities of it, you could go into all the technicalities of the translations and stuff like that, Skull. But
yeah,
the proof is in the pudding. Like if you go to a church, the people will act differently from one church to another about music. Let's say music. I went to a church in Ohio one time, bro, and they were so against music. They wouldn't even have an organ in the church.
oh wow.
Yeah, dude. And
Okay.
they had the whole doctrine about this, how music was evil, of the devil. And when you went there, it was like it all sounded great. It all sounded like someone really thought this out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but wait a minute. I mean, I'm not a scholar, but aren't like Psalms and things like that in the Bible? Isn't that what they are? They're songs.
Music, bro. It's music. Yeah. David supposedly played a lyre,
Yeah.
a harp. So,
Right.
But these guys, and I've been to so many different ones where all they do, Skull, is just change it to what they want to hear. You know, it's whatever
Right.
their lifestyle is, they change it to suit that. You know,
It's our, yeah.
like
Well,
okay,
it is easy to kind of do that when you flip through the book. Sometimes you can kind of find a little spot for whatever you're trying to talk about, but that doesn't
yes,
mean that it holds through in every situation.
all right. So, oh man,
Yeah.
forget what I was saying
I
right there.
I haven't been to a church for a long time, but
Mhm.
yeah, I went to church when I was growing up. You
Yeah,
know, but I don't know. It never really
yeah. People get
never
into
really
it.
felt like I found the right one either, I guess.
Yeah, I know, bro, and me neither. I haven't been to a church in probably 10 years, maybe 15 years, probably. You
Yeah,
know, uh, uh, and it's not because I don't have faith. I do have faith. I do.
right.
You know, I know there's a creator. I know there's a creator. I just don't put a name on it because when you put the name on, that's when people go, "Oh, you know, you're not saying that right. It's a different name. You got the name wrong,
Yeah,
right?" You know, and
right.
that's where it starts. Even in the Torah stuff, where
Well,
I'd been doing for a while.
yeah,
There's different names in that one too.
yes.
Different names.
And what was interesting to me, I mean, I'm not again not a scholar or anything, but I studied into the Hebrew stuff a little bit. It's really interesting, and it's like, well, from what I understand, that wasn't like really a spoken language. That was like a select language for their religious writings and things like that. That's
Yes,
why only the priests could tell,
that's right.
knew the language, and then they would interpret it.
Right.
So the people who were saying, no, Jesus' name was, or God's name's Yahweh, or, all the different, I don't know what all the different names are that people think it is, but it's
Well,
like, well, I don't think that would have been it either because people didn't speak that language
right.
in general.
Like only the scribes, right? The scribes would be the
Right.
ones who knew how to read it.
They were saying that Aramaic was the language that Jesus spoke. So that would make his name like Isho
Yes.
or something like that,
Right.
ISH, Isho, I think. Something
If you
like that.
wanted to put a
Isho.
name on it, right? But
Right.
that's
That's
what I'm
what.
saying. Like once you put that name on, I'm gonna say, "Oh no, Scully, you're wrong. That's not that one. It's not pronounced that way. Sorry."
I just thought it was weird that there doesn't really seem to be a crowd out there that's for that name
Right. I
in
like
particular.
a fan club. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's one
100%.
for almost every other name. I mean, you have people that will never give up the name Jesus for their whole life, or
Yes.
Yeshua, or all the different whatever they are. And
Right.
yeah, I
Right.
don't know.
I know. It gets crazy.
And I love discussion too, and I'm not really that easily offended, but that's not the way a lot of people are with the religious stuff. So it's kind of like, well, I don't want to go and offend people, go into their church and then say,
Yeah.
well, I'm not sure about all this stuff, and have them be upset with me. And
I know, bro. And they
yeah,
will. They will.
right.
I've seen people getting taken by the throat because of a disagreement about in Torah. It's like calendars. They talk about these different calendars and stuff that they follow for
Yeah,
the,
lots of stuff,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. And
Like
I've seen
you're going
guys
to be very busy if you're in that religion.
they get violent. You know what I mean? But
The tradition,
even
runs deep.
in the Bible itself, right? Here's what it says. It's James chapter 1, by the way. I'm not sure if you read Bible and stuff, but I'll read it here just
Okay.
to show you. Those who consider themselves religious and yet do not keep a tight rein on their tongues deceive themselves, and their religion is worthless. Religion that God our Father accepts as pure and faultless is this: to look after orphans and widows in their distress, and to keep yourself from being polluted by the world. Really simple. Did you see it?
Do
Two
your
things.
best for people.
Two things, dude. Help the poor or feed the orphans and widows and poor, right? I mean, help people. That's what it's
Yeah.
saying. That's
Yes.
what he says. It's right in there. But they'll say, no, I gotta get into the technicalities of, calendars and stuff, like what the Torah guys do,
Right.
Deciphering these calendars. And one guy will say, oh, I've got the right calendar. This dude over here will say, oh, no, I've got the right one. And then
Oh,
there's a
man.
fight and a division, right? And it just goes
Right.
like that, man. I'm getting too old for this shit. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Right.
You know?
If it's, I mean, at what point then does that become where it's bringing strife to you?
All right. It's not long because, like in my own family, it's happened already. It
Yeah.
created division in my own family, dude,
Right.
between siblings. So, like, one of my, I won't share too much personal stuff, but I thought I'd almost lost my daughter because of it. I don't mean
man.
dead. I don't mean dead. I mean, went away, right?
Right.
But no, managed to, over time talking to her and stuff, I got her back, and she now lives close to me now, and I'm able to visit with her and build a relationship, and
Right.
regain all that ground that was lost, Scully,
That's awesome.
which is, to me, is the most important thing. Your family and your siblings.
Right.
Because let's say if you lived really, really good life, you're a really religious guy, but you didn't have any children, or you had children, but they hated you and they go away, right? They're not going to take that on. They're not going to continue your legacy, right? It's going to end right there.
Right.
So to me, it's like, that's pointless. I kind of wish we were in the days, Skull, where you had all your family living in the same area, close by.
Yeah.
I know that's not possible in America anymore, but
It's not the way it used to be, is it?
because when your children grow up, they all go their different ways. They might go different states away from you, and and you can't get to them, and I don't know.
I mean, on the one hand, you can do a chat like this.
Yes.
You could like see them on camera and things like that, even if they were, anywhere in the world. But
Fair enough.
yeah,
Got this
as far as living near each other, it doesn't happen very much anymore.
No.
Even when I was growing up, I had cousins and everything all around, but I don't
Right.
really have that anymore.
Right.
I had to move, so
I'll tell you our family history. We were farmers in Ireland, and they had 2 farms of land they had at one time. One lazy farmer, that was well, I shouldn't be rude towards my grandparents, but my grandfather. It was my grandfather. And my dad he has way worse things to say about that guy than I do.
right.
But so he was lazy, and he lost the farm and also ran the second farm into the ground, so that there was no money, there's no inheritance, there was no provision, right? So all of his children moved away, foreign countries. Some moved to Australia, some moved to Canada. My dad stayed there, and his younger brother. And my grandfather hated my dad so much that he gave the farm to the youngest son, which is unheard of. It's
Right.
like, it's usually the oldest son. And then after that, the whole family was dispersed, and now I'm living in America, thousands of miles from my family,
Right.
and trying to start again, right? We're trying to start again and keep our children as close as possible, but it just never happens, Skull. They just move away.
Right. And it's so hard to build something up.
Yeah. You have to have land and stuff. You'd have to have land.
Yeah. Even if you started your own business and were somewhat successful, it's still hard. That next
Yes.
generation is probably going to run it to the ground if they're not careful real easily,
Yeah. I think the Industrial Revolution just destroyed this place. Skull. You know, I mean the world. I mean the world. I
Yeah.
think the Industrial Revolution destroyed it. You know, that's just a statement that I make because you know if it wasn't for that, people wouldn't have been able to travel as far. You know, like away from their own town, maybe several towns away. You know what I mean, and spread out the family like that. You know what I mean? It was more close. I think
Right.
in those days. I don't know for sure, like because it wasn't there. You know. Sorry, I lost you there. Oh, you're gone.
Yeah, I think I'm here.
I know you got real life going on over there, bro.
Yeah.
You know.
I just mute out if something's loud. I'm still here.
I mean, if I was with my girls and stuff, yeah, I wouldn't be able to stream right now. I wouldn't be able to do that. They're kind of loud, you know. But I'm not really going to stream too long. You know, I was just kind of. Did you see the plasma stuff?
No, sadly, I missed the plasma part.
Okay. Well, hopefully it'll stay up. You know, hopefully I don't get a copyright strike for the two ODD songs. You know.
Well, as far as that goes, most of the time, like if they do a copyright claim, that doesn't mean you're in trouble or blocked or anything like that. It just means you can't monetize.
Ah, yes. Most of mine are because of the Johnny Cool theme song.
Right.
I think it's because of that. Most of them, almost all of them, have our infringement of some kind on it. Skull.
Yeah.
Oh,
and I mean, there is a way to remove that later. You know, if you wanted to keep something up and there's like a couple songs in it, you can go in and trim those out later.
Well,
pretty easily.
As time goes on here, I'm going to stream more and more, Skull. You know, try to be consistent about it.
Yeah, I haven't seen you for a while. I was happy to see that you were on.
Oh man, I
don't know if I've just missed it or if you haven't been on for a while.
It's chaotic just right now, man. I mean, like
Yeah.
I said, I'm going through a divorce. I got divorced. Moved away from my house. I haven't really been able to find anywhere to stay, you know. So I don't want to share too much personal information again, but
no.
But it's been a rough road just recently, but we're okay. I'm good, man. You know, we're gonna get over this.
Melanie wants the Wild Women of Wongo.
Yeah, she wants the Wild Women.
Of course. Yeah, I've got some more Hercules and other various sword and sandal men wearing skirts movies coming up sometime.
What's the one with the Yeti with the nip clips?
yeah. I don't have that. I've never been able to get a hold of an actual copy of that, so I don't actually have it. Yeah, I just streamed it before off YouTube. So
yeah.
If I ever see it, of course I'll get it. But
what is it called? That one?
I want to say that's Yeti Giant of the 20th century or something.
Oh, really?
Like, something similar
like
to that.
Movie?
Yeah.
It's like a B movie or something.
Yeah, 70s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to have the nip clip one.
Yeah, it's it's pretty good.
But I try to sneak into your shows when you're on, you know. If I have a chance, bro. I haven't had a chance, you know.
I totally understand, man. And that's the thing too. Like with what I'm doing is totally different than what you're doing. You know, like if you're uploading something ahead of time and then just doing a premiere,
yeah,
then you know, like for me, if I play a movie, I wouldn't even have to be there during it.
Yeah.
You know, or anything. I could just do it. So it's different for me. I'm very busy all the time, but I'm able to do stuff like that because it doesn't really require me to.
your
give it my
stuff's
full attention. You know.
really good. Like, I mean, you know, when you do your music, it's really professional. Like, I mean, must admit it's good. Like, you know, so
Yeah. Well, I
kudos,
appreciate
bro.
that. Appreciate that.
Kudos.
Yeah, it's funny, man. I've
Yeah.
it's just like it's brought a new life to some of my old CDs and
Yes,
DVDs
yes.
and things like that. That
Cool.
you know.
But the reason I did a live tonight was to test being able to use my phone to do the like walk around with the phone. What I did was I put my iPhone, sent an email to that, and went on StreamYard, put
Yeah.
that on the screen, and then went out there and taped filmed the plasma table.
Okay.
And I think it worked okay, you know. So
Yeah.
I was wondering how I was going to do that, you know what I mean? But there you go. Find a way to do it.
So that was at the beginning.
Yeah, that was at the beginning.
Okay. So after
oh.
this, I'll have to rewind.
I mean, it's kind of interesting. I mean, I don't know if you've seen plasma cutting, like CNC plasma
A
cutting.
little bit. I've seen it at least once on your channel.
Yes, but this
So,
thing, dude, it
yeah.
will. I mean, 2.5 inches thick of steel. You can imagine, pretty thick block of steel, right?
Right.
With that head that I'm using right there, that'll go through that in seconds, dude. And it rips it out. Just like, it's so powerful. I can feel it in my feet. I can feel the tingling. You know?
In the whole room.
Yeah, I can feel like my toes kind of vibrating a little bit.
Wow.
Yeah, they've got 2 grounding rods at the back of the machine, huge grounding rods, 12 foot long, shoved into the ground to get rid of the residual energy. You know.
Wow.
Yeah, because it doesn't use all the energy to cut the steel. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it has to go somewhere, and it would go into you if it wasn't grounded like that. You know.
Right. Dang.
But man, it is a powerful machine, and that's why with the meltology stuff, I kind of like think, if it did happen, if a X factor happened, that's probably how it happened, right there.
Some kind of a
Maybe
technology
maybe
that we don't know about. That
I don't know, Skull.
not
I wasn't
not sure.
there. I wasn't
Right.
there.
Yeah. I'm just
So I don't
wondering,
know.
spitballing.
Yes, no, it's good, and I like that. But what I don't like to do, I never get pedantic about this stuff because I have no clue, dude. I mean, you could cause a division between me and you right now by me saying, "Oh, it has to be this way." You know what I mean? And, dude, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'd rather chat and be friends, and
Yeah. No, I'm
well,
open-minded.
yeah. Actually, Melanie, my beard is getting a little bit white around the edges here. Maybe it's the plasma table doing it. I don't know. So,
Between that and the stress.
the stress, yeah.
Yes.
Stress of having to put up with Melanie, yeah. Joking. But yeah.
Yeah. I'm near albino. Some of my friends used to call me powder.
Okay.
I'm not actually, but I'm pretty white. It's fun.
White hair. Okay. What age are you, Skull? Do you mind saying or?
Well, let me do the math. I'm 46, I believe.
46.
Yeah.
I'm 49. I just turned. Did you see my birthday stream?
I can't remember.
Yeah, I haven't streamed for a long time, so
That was probably the last one.
Yeah, these are probably a surprise to people, like I'm even doing it again. But
yeah,
no,
I've gone on and checked a few times just to see if like you had done something and I'd missed it or.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I haven't got time to do videos like you're saying. It takes so long to do them.
Yeah.
I just don't have time, man. But I'm getting there, though. I'm getting there. just trying to find a place to be at the minute. So, and once that happens, I'll do more. 'Cause
Right.
I'm not done. I'm not done like seeking truth. You know what I mean, Skull? I'll never be like, just like you won't. I would
Yeah.
assume. I'm not. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but
Yeah.
what I say, once you see it, you can't unsee it, right? I mean, it's like, there's some shit going on around you.
Yeah. It's well, it seems to be just about anything we look into,
Yeah.
It can lead to a lot of questions.
This weather we're getting, like I've seen the chemtrails for days before. Now we've had a storm for about probably 2 or 3 nights. You know what I mean?
Right.
Continual, and it was lightning and everything. I just, I know they're generating that shit. Like, it really, there's to me, there's no question. It's so obvious.
How long do you think they've been doing it? You think they've been doing it a long time, but it's just getting more ramped up now, or is it like a new thing?
Yeah, I think it'd be doing it for a while though.
Yeah.
Well, I just don't know how long. Maybe the 40s. Maybe the Germans were
At
doing that.
least, I know they were in America even in the 40s, if
Yeah.
you go and look at old newspapers and things.
Yeah.
So
I think the Germans, were getting more technology done than most people at that time.
right.
And they had the money to do it. So
Yeah.
obviously their cars are pretty decent, right? They're right,
Sure.
cars and stuff. So, but
Sure.
I think maybe before the 40s, probably. Really. I mean,
Yeah.
whenever
Yeah, they were. I used to wonder, were they doing a little bit of that kind of stuff even with the steam trains?
yeah, maybe. I'm
And
not sure.
and I think they might kind of be doing some of that out with boats.
All right. Well, it would
You
make
know?
sense. That would make sense.
Yeah.
It'd be well hidden because you wouldn't question that there's steam coming out, right? I mean, if
Yeah.
it's ship, right? So yeah, you would not question that. It's a good, interesting thing to look into, probably.
Yeah. You start looking into the ancient world.
Yeah.
Even it seems like there's ways to seed clouds from the ground,
Yeah.
without even flying. So
I know that I was talking with my friend about this a while back, but I used to run EDM. It's electrical discharge machining. I don't know if you've heard of that one.
I'm not sure.
Anyway, it cuts with a copper brass wire, right? That goes right through the metal that they're cutting. And there's water. There would be water submerged in a tank, and everything's under the water. Well, the water has dielectric fluid in it. It deionizes the water.
Okay.
Right? So that if you put your hand in it whilst it's cutting, and it's quite high voltage too, it will not shock you. You can put your hand in the water. And
Wow.
everyone knows that water is conductive, right?
Right.
But
Sure.
It's because it's deionized, and then there's no charge in it. You have to have a positive and negative, right? So
Right.
I would imagine that they could do it without an airplane. You know what I mean? Just by changing, deionizing the atmosphere, the air, let's say.
Yeah.
To steer these storms and stuff. I would
Right.
think, just based on me using that machine. I don't know everything about that, but I'm sure there's people who know a lot more about that stuff than I do.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Watching some of these old movies or even old cartoons, I think they're probably still up on my channel. Some old Gumby episodes.
Oh, really?
Where he's talking about making weather and through science and things like that. Yeah. And he ends up seeding clouds with this pink clay, and it creates like a big mud flood.
Okay. Interesting.
And covers the whole kingdom in mud.
They put it in the movie.
It's an interesting one.
It is.
And they're old. These are old. There wasn't like an 80s one or something. It was probably 50s at least.
I bet you
So-
all the cartoons we watched as children had some kind of influence that they wanted, to steer us in a certain direction.
Right.
With their LGBT, for instance, I bet you there's a lot of that in early cartoons as well.
Yeah.
To get everybody
Well, yeah.
ready for it. You know what I mean?
Take a look sometime at I've noticed it a lot with children's, quote, children's cartoons, the cross-dressing thing.
Yes.
There's always going to be a way that Fred Flintstone's going to wear a dress, the George
Yep.
Jetson's going to wear a dress.
Yep.
It almost always happens.
Yes.
Uh,
And people look
just for like a couple minutes, and it's always like a funny, scene or whatever, but it's like, I don't know, they sure do it a lot.
They do. They sure do. They're very clever how they do it.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a reason why they make all this stuff, programming.
Even the costumes in Masters of the Universe, right?
Yeah.
They're all very skimpy, and it's if
Right.
if he wasn't so muscular, it'd be that leotard he has on would be kind of gay looking, wouldn't it?
Right.
He has a leotard on.
Little bit.
He's a huge fag right there. You know what I mean? Yeah, there's a lot of them old cartoons. Yeah, I think we're.
Well, and then you start to get into the religious doctrine end of that stuff.
Uh-huh.
If
Yep.
you actually have studied some of that, you start recognizing these names and everything, and it's like, wow, why are they talking?
Yeah.
It's in all these different video games and stuff now, and
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like I say, once the names get starting to get attached to things, like that's where the division comes in with a lot of folks. I know you're talking about a different aspect of that,
right.
but I'm saying, like, yeah, you're right. There is significance in the names somehow, but I've just seen a lot of division, man, from people clinging on to a certain spelling of a name or pronunciation of a name or in a religious way, you know what I mean? And okay, I'll ask you this. You know a little bit of Bible, right?
Sure.
So the thief on the cross, what name did he say to Jesus? What name?
I don't know.
He didn't,
Yeah.
bro. He didn't say any name at all. So if you have to say the name, like people are saying, oh, you've got to pray in the name of Jesus or whatever it is.
Right.
Then that guy was not saved because he didn't say that. He didn't say that prayer that they say you have to pray, right?
Did any of his disciples call him by his name ever? I don't know if I ever remember anyone ever really calling him by his name. They called him master or rabbi or.
Yeah, master mostly, which means teacher. That's teacher, right? That's not a name. So it's just so weird, man. It's just so weird, But yeah,
I don't know. I mean, somehow people are justifying it, though, right? Like you said, they've found it. They found it somewhere.
Yep.
Justified it, and that makes sense. And what does it mean? Then is it like you're better than everyone else because you figured it out, or?
Bingo. Because that's what happens. Then they get all judgmental, right? They'll judge you and they'll say, oh, you're not acting the way you should be. Even though prior to them being saved or whatever you want to call it, they acted the same way you did before, right?
Right.
And then they become, hypocrites,
Right. Like, that was 2 years ago. I have completely changed now.
Right. And there's some people are still doing things that are actually wrong in my mind, which is not religious. Like, for instance, maybe I don't know if it should be specific about this, but providing pharmaceutical drugs for people, which to me are damaging, actually physically damaging the body. I don't know how you
Right.
feel about pharmaceutical drugs, but I'm totally against them, bro. I will not buy any medicines from, what pharmacies or anything like that,
Yeah. I mean, I try to stay away from it.
I just know
can.
what it is. It's like, it's hurting
Well,
your body.
they come with a lot of side effects, right? So
Yeah.
maybe it can help one thing, but yeah, it's likely to maybe cause some problems with another. And then it's like, well, we have this to treat that. Then you take this to treat that,
Yeah.
and then that causes something. So then you need a different one to take that.
Well, I'll testify that they're not necessary because I have 5 children. All right, Skull? I have 5. They have never been vaccinated. They do not go to doctor visits. They never went to health wellness checks. They take children to wellness checks. Never did any of that. They don't take pharmaceutical drugs at all. They've never taken pharmaceutical drugs. And they're healthy as horses. They're way more healthy than I am, Skull.
Right.
And no problems.
Well, I think the big thing with that I always hear is that it's like, well, there's not enough people to do an actual comparison.
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's just that one person, so it couldn't mean anything. And it's like, well, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I've said too much already. They're saying that I should pull this stream because I'm talking like this,
Yeah.
I guess, but maybe
Yeah, it's possible. You never know. You never know what's allowed to say.
I'm not even
And
sure.
if you're gonna do the, people will say, well, I'm doing the, what do they call it, where you're like, you're able to say whatever, this disclaimer.
Oh, right. I do put that on mine, actually.
Yeah, but you have to actually realize what it is. It's not just like fair use. That's what I was trying to think of. Sorry, I just had a blank.
That's the one.
Fair use.
Fair use.
You have to really research into that, because in order to do fair use, you have to provide both an equal amount for both sides of the argument.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Well,
it's for discussion, and it's for, it's not just like a thing that you can hide behind and say whatever you want. They still were going to make you do things.
Can I just say that all medicine is good for you? Can I just say that and offset that a little bit? Can I?
Right. We're not giving any medical advice to anybody. You should talk to your doctor. They're the smartest people in the entire world. They're the only ones who know anything. So I would talk to them.
Right. In fact, I have a banner for that. I think. Here you go. This is my banner for that.
Yeah. And if you're worried about the contrails, there's a Britannica banner for that.
There you go.
For the airplanes. So yeah, we're covered, I think, right?
Yeah, I've got a banner on now, Skull. It says do not take medical advice from a YouTube stream.
Right.
There
I guess,
go,
I mean, so does that mean YouTube can I sue them if I make the wrong decision and they didn't put a banner up? Are they responsible for me now? Or do I still have to make the decisions for my life?
We could make some money here, actually. Now you say that. there's a bunch of streams that does it, right? And they don't give it a warning or anything about that.
Right.
Yeah, we could sue YouTube, 100%. But they might pull the stream for me saying that.
Probably.
Sue YouTube would be worse than the medical stuff.
Well, I mean, if we're talking about medical stuff, what exactly is doctor? You were talking about studying religion and things like that. Isn't being a doctor actually a religious thing?
I think it was initially.
Yeah, like a doctrine.
Yes, Princeton. I think they were all seminaries at one time. All those big colleges were.
Yeah.
The beginning, Skull. Yeah.
just the linguistics of the word doctor.
Yep. Yep.
And, you know, we kind of found another term is health official, right?
All right. Yes.
So what's an official? Is that just,
That's a
is that
good
someone who's in
question.
charge over you?
Yes, it is. It is.
Interesting.
Well, once that shit goes in your body, they are in charge of you. I'm sorry, because I'm doing it again. I'm going to get the stream pulled. Okay. If you go into, like, say, a doctor, like you're saying, and they tell you, like, oh, you're sick, you've got this certain illness, they're cursing you, Skull. They're like putting a curse on you, you know, because if you believe what they say, if you believe it, then yeah, you'll go along with their program and take their great medicine, right? I don't know why I keep doing air quotes.
Well, yeah, you know, the testing.
Yes.
The testing is something that
Mhm.
it can get really interesting in my, you know, from my what little I've looked into it, where it's like,
Yeah.
wow, you know, if it's
Yeah.
easy to just kind of say, yeah, well, someone tested positive for whatever it is, you know, any kind of illness that they test for. But
Yes.
most of us out there that are going to the doctor don't know anything about how that test works or anything else. And kind of, it's been my experience from people I've known who worked in the medical that most of them don't really know either. They just kind of have like a protocol how to do it. You know, here's what you do, and if it says this number, it means this. You know.
You know, I worked in the pharmaceutical industry. I don't know if you knew that.
I don't remember you saying that.
Yeah, I used to work in a pharmaceutical company, so dude, I could say a lot. Red's worried about what we're saying right now. If I start talking about what I want to talk about, yeah, I could maybe end up in a box. Because there's a lot of like underhanded shit that goes on in those places, Skull. The particular place that I worked at, they used animals to generate certain things.
Right.
Can I say things? You know what I'm saying, right? They generated things, but they were allowed 30% difference for one batch of their potion, right? I'm going to call
product.
it. I'm calling it a potion to the next one. 30%, bro. 30% difference.
So that might be an explainer why people are saying, well, it can't be caused from that because there's a billion people out there that also got the same thing and they didn't get hurt.
Yes, exactly.
So you're saying, well,
yeah, that
if it can change.
Yeah, they didn't get the same batch as the ones that got hurt from it.
Well, they'll, you know, I don't know what it's like anywhere else in the world, but the last time I looked into the matter on the official, you know, websites, things for America, the FDA, it's like 1 out of every 3 drugs that they approve ends up being harmful and ends up being pulled later.
Yeah.
33%. Wow.
33%. It's probably 33. I would bet it is 33. You know?
Yeah, I mean 1/3. That's.
I bet it is.
And it's like, well, either way, that's pretty rough. I mean, if someone was to say like, hey, you have a, you know, like you went to the mechanic, look at your car, and they said, well, there's a 1 in 3 chance that your car is going to explode on you on the way home.
All right.
Would you jump in and be like, yeah, I'm good?
Yeah, no problem. We'll just do it. You know,
I like those odds.
No worries, man. It's like playing Russian roulette, right?
Yeah. So for whatever reason, you know, there's a lot of excuses and different things that people say for why it is that way. Well, they rush through the tests, or they don't have the right people, you know, quality checking, and
yes.
But whatever it is, it's like the end result is what we're looking at. That's what the bottom line, right? I mean, if you're at work and you don't get your job done, the boss doesn't want to hear why. They want to hear, are you done or not?
Yeah.
You know, and it doesn't seem to be the way it is. You know, that industry isn't responsible at all
Right. No, not
It's
at all.
like every single thing they do. And even if, like this last thing that we had going on a few years ago,
Yeah.
it's like, even if that does cause problems with someone, the company is exempt from any liability. It's going to be the government that's going to pay
Yeah.
a settlement if someone's injured. So yeah, I mean, that seems like a pretty good business to be in, right? How many businesses can you do where it doesn't matter what your outcome is, you get the money and you don't have any liability?
None. Hardly any. And you're paying for it, actually, right? Because the government, it's your money.
Yeah.
Really.
That's you, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's kind of wild. It makes you wonder, will things change? You know, there's a lot of talk about things changing right now. Will they actually make some changes? Will people demand more, or will we just settle for whatever we get?
At this point, I think people are just going to go along with it. You know what I mean? That's what I think. But
Yeah. I
even,
don't really see a reason to censor people. You could go out and tell people anything and most people won't listen to you. Like you said,
Right.
they're not thinking about that tomorrow anyway.
Nah. I don't even think they care anymore. I think they're just going to do what they want to do, and it's not going to matter. Because too many people are just sucked into it. You know what I mean? There's only a few of us, like, really. If you think about it.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot, there's a cost.
Yeah, yes.
There's a cost if you're going to change your way of thinking on whatever it be.
100%.
There's going to be a cost. So,
like I say, if I speak up about it right now and someone hears it, the wrong person hears it, they could find me and do something about that. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I'm not worried. I will. I would talk about it, but I don't want to get the string pulled. But, all I can tell you is there's a lot of dead sheep. I did not realize that the worst part about working in a place like that would be the smell of dead animals. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sounds like one of those temples back in the Old Testament days.
Yes. I once took a walk. I had access to lots of different places on that facility. With the engineer card, I can access the refrigerator has cocaine in it and stuff. You know what I mean? All this kind of stuff. All right.
Yeah.
So, but took a walk one day and was walking up past the shed where they kept some of the sheep, and the door was open. It's just cracked open just a little bit, and one of the heads fell out, and the tongue just kind of rolled out. You know what I mean? And they had this guy who his sole job was to end the ones that were already dying and dead.
Yeah, they gotten jacked up from something.
Yep.
Or
And
other.
he grabbed the head. He grabbed the head of the sheep and pulled it back in the shed and shut the door as I was walking past.
He's like, "This is for your own good.
Yeah, and he was Polish.
You don't want to see this, man."
Yeah, he couldn't speak English, so if you asked him, he couldn't tell you. Right? Very clever. Very clever.
Yeah.
The incinerator truck would come to that place probably twice a month and be filled with sheep. So, am I saying too much?
I mean,
I don't know. I don't
if
care.
if you want to be safe, yeah, probably just when this is over, just take it down.
I'm not worried about it. I mean, you need to see the plasma cutting anyway. So,
Right. Or you could, like I said, you could go in and cut everything except for the plasma out, or there's ways to
modify it.
change it later. Yep, in YouTube Studio.
Gotcha. I'm not even sure if I'm worried about it, to be honest with you.
No. Yeah, if you don't have any active strikes or anything that you're worried about losing your channel over, then Yeah, I mean, the worst that could happen is you get a strike.
And plus, the place I'm talking about is in Ireland. Okay, it's in Ireland. It's not over here. So, but I mean, they've got people over here though. But and some,
Of course.
but usually their game is like monetary punishment. You know what I mean? To sue you or something like that. Non-disclosure. You know, because you have to sign non-disclosure agreements.
Yeah, you just signed this non-disclosure, so you can't. Now you're
That's right. Now I owe them some money or whatever.
right.
Come and get it. That's what I tell them. Come and get it. So, but they better not come on my buddy's property. I'll tell you that. They're rednecks. You know what I mean? They're not very friendly, dude. Just saying.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, that was just it's eye opening when you work in a place like that. You know what I mean?
I mean, I can imagine. Yeah.
It's not clean cut like you would hope it would be, right?
It's not like the commercials that company made. It's not like the image that they presented.
No, dude. Nope. All clean and nice, and everybody's pretty, and right? No.
Yeah, perfectly white coats and gloves, and yeah.
Right. Doing their what do you call it? The twerking, right?
Right.
Twerking and stuff. No, it's not like that.
Yeah.
In fact, one of the girls who worked there, she was a tech, right? Who would take the samples and mix them and put them into the vials and stuff, right? Well, she quit and she told them it's because she knew when she got a handful of those vials, so many sheep had died to get that small amount of,
Stuff.
Right? She quit. She couldn't handle it. It was too much on her conscience. You know what I mean?
Right.
Anyways,
It is. I mean, yeah, it's kind of wild when you think about it.
yeah.
But that's kind of how a lot of this stuff works, right? The more ignorant someone is to something, the easier it is to tell them anything about it.
Oh yeah. You can. A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down, right?
Yeah. But it doesn't work as good when someone like you is there, I guess, right?
It don't matter. I mean, there's only 8 people watching. There's 8 people watching, dude. So it's not like what I'm saying is gonna reach everyone. Like
no,
thousands of
right?
people. If there was,
even if it did, most people aren't gonna. They're just gonna write it off anyway. So
oh no, they just say that's just some guy, a random guy. We don't even
trying to get attention, or he's just mad they fired him or something. So he's
we don't even know if he even worked there.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I can. Show
He doesn't look Irish to me.
I have a patent actually under my name with that company. I could show it to you, but I don't want to show it here. Privately.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't. Yeah, I wouldn't dox it out.
But yeah, it's just like it happened, and it was like I say, none of the people that worked there would give blood. Like they do these blood drives, and they wouldn't give blood because they knew what they were going to do with it. They're going to take it and try to freaking make some shit out of it, maybe a clone or something. Try to clone you. Can you imagine that?
Well, that's not what they said though. When they did the drive, they said that without you, all these people, if someone gets in a car wreck or something, they're just going to die.
Yes, that's what they tell them. But that's what they tell them.
And you get a cookie,
right? You get a cookie or a lollipop, right? Can you imagine if there was 2 of me, a clone?
Oh wow.
That'll be sad, or maybe it'd be great. I don't know, because then I could live stream with myself. You know what I mean? Be up on there.
Yeah, and your clone could just like join the stream with the iPhone, from the
Yeah.
plasma cutter, we could go back live.
Yeah,
Let's
man.
go back
back and forth.
to the plasma cutter clone.
Yep. Yeah, I might well, I was gonna walk out there and show it to you, but I guess you can watch it. I won't pull this video until you watched it, you know. If you're
Yeah.
interested, you know.
I'll check it out. If it's at the beginning, I'll just hit, replay after it ends.
Or maybe I could wait till if it gets a strike or something, you know, I don't know. Do they tell you? I guess they tell you if you're
Yeah, if you get one, that would be like a community guideline strike.
right.
I mean, we just wanted to interject right now that the World Health Organization and all the government authorities, whatever they say about medicine and health, is definitely the truth, 100%.
Yes. Thank you.
So
Thank you for
yeah.
saying that. Thank you for saying that.
everything else is just food for thought. It's
Yeah,
just
that's right.
hypothetical. What if?
What
if
we're just
things
speculating.
were? Yeah.
Right. We're speculating. That's all. We don't know nothing.
Yeah. I'm not a doctor. I don't give medical advice.
Right. I'm not. I only play one on YouTube. Not a doctor. Dr. Phil. That's about it. But
Yeah. Is he even a doctor? Is that just like the
I
title?
don't think so. I don't think he is. It's just
funny.
a stage thing. But
What's next? Judge Judy's not actually a judge?
not actually a judge. No way. There is no way.
Man, it's almost like I can't trust the things that I see on TV to be reality.
Yes. She's so convincing.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, it's a weird world we live in, isn't it, Skull?
It is.
It's
It is. And I keep looking further back, and it just doesn't seem to ever find a time when it wasn't weird.
It was always. Yeah.
Yeah,
From
somehow.
Yeah.
It's always been weird. Or at least that's what we are told.
Is why I keep saying I think Industrial Revolution was the point of change, maybe. From the weirdness, you know. Maybe it was weird before then too. I don't know, but it seems like that was the turning point for
Made it mainstream.
Yeah, because it was easier to get things around. Like it's easier to, you know, like newspapers and things came online where you could actually tell a whole bunch of people about something, right? Whereas before
Right.
you couldn't. I mean, you had to go down to the local pub, right, to tell stories and stuff, and that's where you get your information from, the pub or church.
Right. Literal word of mouth.
Yep, absolutely. So it wouldn't spread as fast that way. So, but now with the internet, now it's like, oh yeah, you're ramped up. My goodness, I don't even know if we know how fast it's changing around us, Skull. This world at the minute.
I know I don't, because I'm just kind of in my own little bubble, it seems like, for the last
too.
decade or something.
Me too. It's
I
like,
kind of, and this is like the most active I've been for a while. Before that, I was like totally off the charts. I didn't do online or anything.
yeah, I'm glad you came back on. It's good, like giving people a place to hang out and chat with each other and stuff.
I don't know how I ever got talked into doing that.
Ah,
I don't.
no, it's good though, because I mean, give people a place to vent. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
talk stuff that we would be able
The
to talk.
majority, I mean, honestly, the majority of my viewers don't chat or anything. It's just this is kind of like now that everyone has, like, well, I don't have it, but a lot of people have YouTube right on their TV.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
and for me, playing movies and stuff, I think that's kind of what a lot of the people they do. They just watch.
We got rid of our TV a long time ago. When when our children were young, like we didn't have one at all. Skull.
Wow.
And then it was only within the last maybe 4 years, probably 3 or 4, maybe 5 years, that brought a TV in the house, and it changed everything, dude. Now they're like vegging out, watching shows, like
Right.
just like as if they've been watching it their whole life, which they weren't. It just takes a hold so quickly, you know what I mean? Takes a
Yeah.
hold so quickly. But man, I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm going to stream a whole lot longer. But I really enjoyed talking to you, and
Yeah, it's good to see you.
I'm glad you came up. You made a lot more interesting than it would have been.
Yeah, I had fun.
And
A lot of nice people out there in the chat. I've been following along on another device, reading the chat.
Yeah, Melanie's talking about the size of my casket. So she's talking about how small my casket needs to be.
Right, the measurements.
Very nice. There's not even going to be a casket. It's just going to be me rolling into the hedge and, someone throwing some dirt on me. That's it. What does a casket even do? You know what I mean, Skull? Why do we even have caskets?
Yeah, you don't get to see the person
No.
anymore. You get to see them for that, like if you want to, at the funeral. Right. But then after that, yeah, it's not. I don't know why. Why are we concerned about keeping something preserved as long as possible like that? When
right, we're so concerned that we'll pay how many thousands for a casket? Like,
yeah, I mean the cheapest thing you can get is super expensive, right?
Yeah, we pay thousands for a casket, and your body's going to rot away. Why do you have a box around it? You know what I'm saying?
But they put all the chemicals in to keep you from rotting away as fast, as long as you can too. That's why I'm saying I don't understand it.
I don't get it either. Now, there is a teaching about that when Christ comes back, your body will be taken, right? But that's dumb because
right. So now it's like it's becoming a zombie movie,
right? That these actual bodies that these here that is going to rise up.
But then that's like after they've mutilated you, right?
Right, of course.
So you're not even.
And you'd be half rotted. Some people it's going to be half rotted away, like you say in a zombie movie.
Yeah,
that's not the body I want to be in. But, your skull melted away.
Right.
No. So yeah, I don't get it. Why people spend thousands and thousands on.
It goes back to like the mummification and stuff, right?
Yeah, I know.
And that was their beliefs, the reanimating and. Well, in a way, Jesus in the Bible would be a mummy, right? He was wrapped up in
Fair enough.
The dressing and whatever, and
yeah.
But I know the guy that he raised from the dead was his friend.
Lazarus?
Yeah. He was in the cloth still and all that. It's in the story.
But they hadn't been dead for that long. You know what I mean? It was only days.
Yeah.
But I imagine somebody was dead for 200 years. You know what I mean?
Right.
There ain't gonna be no box left.
Well, there was if you look at that stuff, though, there was like a lot that they did to prepare the body then. They would have drained all the fluids and everything out. Like, I think as a mummy, it's basically like they make you into jerky.
Right.
They dry you out and.
Yeah. Dry the skin.
Or in the icy areas, they would have those like, there you go, Yeti. Like the big iced creature.
Yeah.
They thought him out.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I think a lot of it is based on pagan stuff. You know what I mean? These Christian ideas that people have, I think it's based on the pagan stuff anyway. Like what you're saying, mummification. That's a pagan ritual. So I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say about it, but I just wonder, like, why even spend so much money on like a funeral? I'd rather just someone take me and drop me in the ocean and save the money. Go buy yourself something. Drop,
Can you still
drop
hear
me in.
Can
Drop
you
me
still
in.
hear me?
Drop
Sorry,
me. Go, I want to go on one of those ice cruises, Skull, and then drop off the side in the ice because no one will search there, right? I mean, because it's too
yeah,
much ice and stuff. No one's going to look there, so you'll be all right.
right.
Or in the jungle. I don't know. Maybe in the jungle. 'Cause
Yeah, can a guy find peace anywhere?
I don't know. I don't know these days. Oh, I can. Where I'm going after I leave here, it's very peaceful out there, dude. It's out in the woods, and the only thing you can hear is a couple of foxes. You can hear them in the distance, and you can hear an owl hooting. There's some owls in the forest, and that's where I stay.
Nice.
It's nice. I just sleep in my truck, but
Oh, that
it's it's
that's
nice though.
hey,
My truck's nice.
right.
Yeah. No, it's cool. I like it. I like it.
Well, something's gonna turn up soon too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be all right. Everything's going to be great. I am happy enough,
Yeah, it's better
Yeah.
to do this than to waste a bunch of money on
Yeah.
a hotel room or something that's not going to be permanent anyway. So
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I'm saving up my money and I've got
Still.
plans. I've got plans for the future and, everything's going to be great.
yeah,
We're never defeated, Skull. Never. That's how I live my life. You might be damaged, but you're not defeated.
all right. Time does seem to kind of take care of things usually.
And whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So
Yeah,
that's how
it
you
can
do
still
it.
be pretty tough in the meantime sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it can if you let it. But I just like to see the positives and everything. I've got
Yeah.
a job. I can stream from this job. I can smoke in my office. I've got food.
That's rare too.
Yeah. Oh,
I
it's
mean,
the first office I've ever had where I could smoke in it. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
maybe
Yeah.
20 years ago, but
The
not,
80s.
not now. Yeah,
Maybe the 80s. Yeah. And you can smoke on airplanes too, right? But not now. But
yeah.
yeah. That's why there's no smoking signs, right? I mean, why would you have them there? But they
Right.
used to be able to. But I might get off here actually and head back to where I'm staying. And but I appreciate you coming on, bro. And I'm gonna try to do this like maybe every Thursday or something. Just start getting the ball rolling again.
Good idea.
As long as I can get some content.
It helps. It does help to do it if you can, do a regular day like that. I think in general, it helps for people to remember and to kind of plan, hey, that'll be going on Thursday. So
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Like,
it's a good idea.
Say it's going to be Thursday. I know other people stream. There's probably going to be other streams on at the same time, but I want to try to build it up and add more content to it. So, but maybe eventually
Yeah.
sell some stuff.
Yeah.
Sell some merch. Oh,
Not a bad idea.
some T-shirts and stuff like that. Anyway, but yeah, I'm going to end the show. Thanks for joining me, Skull, and thanks for everybody showing up. I didn't think anybody would show up on a Thursday night, but I appreciate it.
Full house.
I'll end the stream with my my outro, and if you want to hang around afterwards, Skull, that's fine. We can chat for a minute if you want, or if you have to go, that's fine.
Okay.
But
Yeah, I got a minute. Sure.
Play
Thanks for having me on.
All right, here we go.